All right. So this is part 6. Thanks for tuning in. I just wanted to make this uniform and take away all the lumps that are in it. It turned out pretty good. So what we're going to do today is we're going to set it up for stitching, make my holes. And once I make my holes, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to varnish this side here. I'm going to do this side last because I'm going to glue it together to do this. But I can varnish all this here, stitch it from here up. Same as this. I'll varnish all the way around here. Then I can stitch it from here all the way around. And after that's done, I can glue it, tack it here with some thread. Then once that's done, and then I got all the holes here, I'll glue this together. And then once it's glued together, I'll put a bit on this and I'll start putting all my holes in. And then once that's done, we'll stitch it up. Let's put some holes in these, and then we'll come back and glue it all up. So, all right, so I'm set up on my island. I got a granite top on there. I have a cutting board, and then I got 9-ounce leather on top of that, and that's just to protect my work. But I need a good solid foundation because I'll use my my picking irons here to line up all my holes. I'm using here, okay, right there. So what I'm using is 4 millimeters. All right, so I got a 6, a 4, 2, and a 1. And I'll start off with this one here and this sheath, and I'll run as far down as I can before I turn the corner. Once I get into the curve, I'll use my other ones. Okay, but to make my job easier, I'm using my mink oil, okay, and all I do is I just poke it in. That way it makes it easy for the extraction. So I also use a bunch of leather that has holes in it that I use consistently, as you can see, for an underbase while I'm making my holes. So I'll double that up and then we'll go to work. All right, so I have my holes all in. So what you see for holes here is what I'm going to stitch prior to gluing it. And then right at the end, right across here, that's going to secure it. And then I'll probably put, depending where it lines up, after securing it here, I might put a stitch or two up on top. We'll see when that comes. But right now this is complete, ready for some threads. So now that one's done also, all the way around. And basically from about here up to the top and around to about here, I'll stitch first and varnish before I glue it to the other part of the sheath. So that's what we're going to do next. Do some sewing here, do some sewing on the other part, then we're going to glue this all together. So this is my stitching pony. I attach it to my computer desk at the bottom here. Then this knob here changes my angles. I like to keep it a little facing forward towards me, but I just got to turn the knob a little bit and then lock her in place. And then tighten the bottom. Okay, she doesn't move. All right. And then on the other side, right about here, I have a locking mechanism where I can squeeze my sheath and all that in here. But I don't want to mark my sheath, so I put the smooth side towards the stitching post, and then the non-finished side is what touches the sheath. So what I do now is just mark my holes where I'm going to start my stitching. So on the side here I have magnets that hold my needles, so I'll just grab one off of this side, measure where it's got to go, look at my last hole, right there, and then I do the same with the other side. What I'm doing is looking at my welt. So when I'm looking at my welt, grab the needle from the other side, I go to the very last hole that I can stitch, which is this one here. All right. So now I know I got to stitch from this hole right around to this hole. Okay. So I am the fourth one in here. That's 4 and 6. So I'll just put that aside. Okay. So right now, I'm going to set myself up with some thread. And for just this part here, I'm going to use 3 times the length. And I'll probably use a little bit more because, you know what? Thread's cheap. I'd rather use more and have extra than get 3/4 of a way through my stitching and run out. Because then you're going to be doing a lot of extra sewing just for a little piece. So anyways, this is 1 millimeter thread. It's waxed. I'm going to use the red, and I'm going to get a blade. All right. So I always use my X-Acto knife. I make sure I got it with me at all times. And I also use a pair of pliers when I need to extract the needle through the leather. It saves on your fingers. So let's get set up. Like I said, 3 times. So there's 1. As you can see, it's rough. That's 2, 3, and then I cut it. Now I'll thread my needles. So I know this one's 4. I swear to God that I did that before. And this one's 6. Oh, there's shit in there. See how it's bending? There it is. Okay. Then I make sure that my equal distance. See how one's up here and the other one's longer? So what I'll do is I'll just pull the longer one till it matches the same length, give or take. There it is, roughly the same length. Fold them across. There you go. Now I'm going to do some saddle stitching. So I got a needle at each end. And now I set up for my stitching. So that's all I have for spare thread, right? So you know what I mean? That's it. Okay. Then once it's cut, I just singe the ends. So there you go. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. Now, all the rest, I still got to wait until the sheath is glued together. But now that that's done, now I'm going to work on the other part. All right. Okay. So now I'm going to glue this here, stitch it, and then we'll attach it together, glue it together. All right. So I got to set up the camera. All right, so it's together. Now I'm just going to clamp her down, leave her sit for a few hours. Then I'm going to touch up all the edges all the way around. Then I got to put all my holes right through. I'll do that the next step. So there you go. That's basically the sheath there. So let's clamp her up so it'll finish gluing. All right, so first things first is these are now empty. I've had them for quite a while, so I just came back from buying 4 more. I don't want to run out next time because I ran out this trip. I almost didn't have enough to finish that. So let's take a look at it, see what it looks like. So anyways, this is the sheath right now. The welt. Yeah, I like it. Looks cool. If I do say so myself. The other welt. Looks good. That's the stitching so far, the belt loop. And around here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to use my Dremel, and where I poked all these holes, I'm going to use my Dremel and a 1/16 bit and put all my holes in all the way around. And then I'll stitch it up. Then after I stitch it up, I'll do all my edges. Alright, so far that's what I got.